Yeah, so what's the good word? Everybody, Lottie Dottie. It is your boy Lamar Jamal chilling with you on a Saturday morning. Don't tell me that it's June 28th, dude. We are already halfway through the year. I don't know where the time is going. It's certainly flying by. I missed y'all, miss connecting with you on here. I've had a mad stuff on my plate, all good things, you know what I'm saying? Continue to pray for me, and I pray for you. This is the Four Corners podcast. I call it Four Corners because I do believe this sincerely from the center of my heart that what we have learned or are learning inside of our home, who we surround ourselves with, you know, who you hang around with every day, man. The music you listen to, you like banging your head to this and that, you rock and roll, you slow jams, whatever you want to call it, and what you watch on TV. I believe those four things make up who we are as people. It certainly has influenced me over the years. You know, I like to tell people I have some of mom, some of dad in me, some of my siblings, man. You know how your interaction was or the lack thereof with your siblings. You might have been an only child or whatever. I happen to be the youngest of three, and I have a brother and a sister. So I saw both sides of things. So I feel like I have, you know, a decent balance of some things, but everybody's life is different, man. And so I'm excited to let you all know that why I call this Four Corners, as I just explained, but there's a book that's coming called Four Corners Intentional Exposure. And the book is done. I want to give a mad shout out to my editor and friend, Rachel Colby, who has challenged me as a writer, as an author, to connect um, with people, to be transparent, to be original, etc. And this has been a long time coming. Obviously, I told you about my first book, Unscripted Transparency, the Lamar Callahan story. That's my personal story, man. That's my way of making amends to people. Listen, with me just trying to be me, people have gotten hurt. I've been hurt, but by the grace of God, some of those relationships have been able to be mended back and fixed and healed. And others, you know what, if we're just on a cordial basis to say hi and bye, that is wonderful. But that's my personal story. This book, man, is shouting out to the masses. I am really hoping to have a platform to speak to people about these very things that we're talking about and these podcasts, talking about relationships that matter. I may conclude this one today on He Said He Loves Me. Ladies, and this is a hard one. And me, having been married before, but now I'm single, I see both sides of it and the potential there for things to go wonderful and beautiful is always present, but the potential there for things to go extremely wrong and hurtful is present as well. And so, as I always start these podcasts off with a quick word of prayer, God, help us. We need your help. Help me to speak to your people, that they will hear your heartbeat and feel your love, and my commitment to wanting people to be better, better, better. And so we talked a while back, and I asked you, do I love me? Very tough question. That is the, other than your relationship with God, your relationship with self is number one. Um, you can't give what you don't have, and you cannot receive what your heart does not have the capacity to receive. That was deep. Listen, folks' hearts are hurting. I know my heart has been hurt, and I put up such walls and barriers that I did not want to let people get close. You know what I mean? I held on to those hurts and offenses because of bad relationships, and I wasn't innocent by any means, but just bad relationships and the breakups and all of that just can really do a number on you. I understand today why some people are just not dating and they're just kind of staying solo and doing them because they're not ready. They don't have that capacity yet in their heart really to give or to receive. So that's a tough place to be and not somewhere that you want to stay. But do I love me? And the next I talk to you about Daddy's Girl, that relationship between a daughter and her father, and a father and his daughter. And fathers, you know, you taking your your daughters out on dates and affirming them and letting them know their value and their worth, showing them that, not just verbalizing it and talking, spending time and commitment, talking to her about life and about dating. Then not just talking to her about life and dating, you actually taking her out on dates to show her what it looked like. What's it supposed to look like? Is she supposed to have that gentleman open the door for her? Absolutely. Is she supposed to have a man just because, not because he wants something, to buy her flowers and roses? Absolutely. Is she supposed to have that support and that covering and feel that strength and feel like you have her back, sides and fronts? Absolutely. Okay. And that's what a young lady should feel from her dad. She should be able to look at you, man, and say, shoot, I want to grow up one day and marry someone just like my pops. And that's a heavy challenge. And then I talked to you about mama's boy. I have a mama's boy via my son Joshua, who I'm super proud of that dude, for going through life with me with their mom, and that we haven't been married since 2006. And a lot of kids, as they grow older, sometimes their hearts get harder. They might push away from their people. They might cling to their people. They might feel like they have to choose between their parents. And I feel like my children did an amazing job at loving me and their mom equally through our knucklehead, because we didn't always do everything right. And now we get to this point where I'm going to keep it on the shorter side today, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be done with it yet. We're talking about He Said He Loves Me. Question for you beautiful ladies, you beautiful daughters, you beautiful mothers, okay, you beautiful sisters. You fall somewhere in that category. You're either a daughter, a mother, a sister, an auntie. But who doesn't want love, man? Who doesn't want, I don't like the word Prince Charming. Maybe some of you all use that, but who doesn't want that solid, real man? That man that loves God, loves himself, respects you. I told you some early indicators and different things that you can do, to find out certain things and save yourself a life of heartache. I told you to ask him about his relationship with his mom. It's his last romantic relationship. When did it end? And are they still cordial? Okay. And I told you that depending on some of these answers, you might find out that dude's still in love. He hasn't been able to let go. You don't want to be a rebound. I've been on both sides. Okay, I've been the rebounder and have been rebounded, only to get my heart hurt. But ladies, you could save yourself a life of heartache asking some questions and just being upfront yourself, because the same questions, I always tell people this: don't ask a question that you're not ready for the answer. I mean, that sounds simple, but it's profound, man, because you ask certain questions, and then hopefully if he answers you honestly and upfront and forthright, you're able to make some decisions. I will say this: one thing that you can do wrong is you can run too quick, you can run too early. Okay, just because run into this man, y'all interact with each other, you meet at the store, Walmart, you meet at a restaurant, you could be out the Cheesecake Factory, however you do your thing in Boston, the North End, or whatever, and you happen to cross paths with someone, however that conversation or whatever that initial attraction is cool. It's a starting place. Now you take your time, and as I talked to you in the last video, you take your time, you've exchanged numbers. Again, I remind you, don't be telling me, oh, hit me up on Instagram. Okay, I'm not 10, 15, I'm a grown man. You're meeting a grown man. Ladies, that might be a father, may have been married, might be a business professional, a CEO, a pastor, or whatever. I'm not trying to be talking about hitting you up on some social media site. Okay, boo, thumbs down. Okay, let's be mature, exchange numbers, talk, whatever, however you want to do it. Set up coffee, dinner, your lunch, or whatever. But ask these questions up front, ladies. And once you feel that peace, that comfortability, now you can go to a next gradual step, as far as whatever you're comfortable with. You have a right to go at your pace, especially if you've been hurt before, or especially you might be new at dating. So it's not even something where things come automatically to you. Okay, but it can be a thing, like I said, where you save yourself a life of heartache and different things up front. And now we get to this place. How do we get to the place of he said he loves me? Well, I don't know how you do your thing. I know some people fall in love or in lust quickly. You all may build the first part of your relationship on something physical. I will tell you that that is not the end all be all. Love is not sex just because you guys have that in common. Ladies, a good test, and fellas may not like this. Um, why not give him anything? Okay, who says you even have to kiss early and do any of that stuff? What if you erased the physical part of it and you said, I want to get to know him, I want him to get to know me, and we're going to go there, okay? And you look at how he treats you. Look at the consistency factor. Look at, is he a man of his word? If he says, hey, I'm going to call you tonight at 8 o'clock, and does he follow through with it? And you sit there and you wait, 8:10, 8:15, 8:45, 9:30, and he might text you, oh, sorry, I didn't get a chance to call you. I got busy. It happens, but it doesn't feel good, does it? Okay, and so there should be a respect factor up front, especially in its early stages where you guys are building with each other. You're building a friendship as part of your foundation. You are building trust. You're building that commitment. You're being a person of your word. You're treating him the way you want him to treat you, and vice versa. Okay, and now you're going on with this relationship. You're looking at the consistency factor. Check this out. I have done a couple of things wrong. Well, more than a couple, but I've done this wrong. I've either met someone that I cared for early quickly and rushed the process. And then another thing I did wrong, I brought someone around my kids too early. And obviously, this is when they were younger, they're grown now. But even thirdly, I introduced my family to them before I knew what was going on with us. Let me pause for a second. I introduced her to my family as my girl or my lady or what have you. And I did that based upon, what I felt was comfortable or where I thought, we were together, only to find out that that's not really where we were. So now I've introduced them to all my people, and let alone if they start liking each other and getting along. And I tell women this, for me, my three leading ladies, my daughter, my sister, my mother, if you can love them and get along with them, then that's going to be some real good smooth sailing. But I introduced her to my family. What that does to her, along with my words of telling her I love you, that's showing her I love you. If you're not 100% sure that that's where things are at, then you might not want to do that so early. And ladies, you reserve that right. If dude says, I want to introduce you to this one, that one, that one so quickly, find out how some of that last stuff went. What happened with, maybe your last girlfriend or your last wife that, you introduced to your family. How did they get along? What was the relationship like? I like, any woman that is in my life, I like them to have their own relationship with the ladies in my, family that I mentioned, my daughter, my mother, my sister. And I'm not saying you got to be besties, chummy, and all of that, but I definitely would appreciate if you went out of your way to try to get to know them. That would make me feel good in the situation, because that is going to help me to see how things will go as things progress, between you and I. Okay, and so now you're building in this relationship, and you're asking these questions. Ladies, this is real important stuff. I'm coming to you being transparent as a man, and I'm sharing these things because I did a lot of these things, if not most of it, wrong. I did them wrong, and I didn't understand maybe how to do it. Um, when timing is critical with things. When you and a person, come together, you might be primed, ready for this relationship. You ready to jump the broom. You, as you say, I'm waiting for the right one, the right man, or I'm trying to find the right one, right man. Little side note, ladies, you should be getting ready to be found. Let us men pursue. Let us men, I don't know if I can say it this way, but I will. Let us men be the hunters. Let you be ready to be found. Get your finances together. Get your walk with God together. Get your health together. Okay, have your business and your affairs and different things in order so that when you meet this man, okay, that is going to come into your life, you are not now trying to get these things in order, but you have some things in order, and then hopefully he has his stuff together, and you guys can come together and make a good couple. And so he said he loves me. What does that mean to you, ladies? Is a question that I am going to propose to you. What does it mean to you when a man says, Janice, I love you, baby. Paula, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. April, Sarah, I love you. Uh, you are who and what I've been looking for, searching for. What does that mean to you? Yeah, it might make you feel good. It might make you cry. It might be in a moment. You might be at a restaurant and the atmosphere is just beautiful and wonderful. Okay. But what happens if it's when things are not at the best place in your life? Are you able to still receive that? Are you able to still process through that and understand that this man, and I'm saying this way for a reason, because men don't always open up quickly. We're not always expressive and emotional. Ladies, you are. Your emotional makeup and package is completely different than us. You wear your stuff right on your forehead. Men, we compartmentalize things. We can put money issues over there. We can put health issues over there. We can put family over there. We can put, bad relationships or, addiction struggle, whatever. Men know how to compartmentalize things. And so it's a big deal when this man is saying to you, I love you. What does that mean to you? What is your definition of that? How do you receive that? How do you process it? And where do you go from there now? Here's the question for today. He said, he loves me. I love you. What now? What do you do with it? Do you run with it? Do you take time? Do you tell him, this is a lot for me right now, and I need to process this. I need to pray about this. I need to sleep on this. Da da da. I need to ponder this. Come on, don't act like I'm the only one that someone has told you that they loved you and you weren't ready for it. I've had women tell me early on that they love me, and I'm like, but you don't even know me that well to love me, which showed me a couple of things. Maybe something was wrong with their definition of love. Maybe something was wrong with my definition of love. Or maybe it just wasn't timing for that between us. Or maybe there was nothing wrong at all and it was actually the perfect opportunity, but maybe we couldn't spot it together. And so there's all types of scenarios. Don't just box it in that it has to be this way or it has to be that way. But what now? What now? Because we're already listen, I, Lamar Jamal, I believe in love at first sight. Now, what I mean by love at first sight, I'm not just saying love at first sight because I'm looking at you and you got all your curves and your hair did and your nails and you're fine and you smell good and you look dope. Yeah, that's awesome for me to look at on the exterior. But have you ever met somebody and you all sat and talked for hours effortlessly and it just flowed? That's part of the sight piece. See, you missed what I was saying. You thought I was just talking about visual. Verbal communication is a form of sight too. I believe that nonverbal communication sometimes is just as powerful as saying something out of your mouth. I believe your posture and your position towards somebody can give that person signals. Okay, you can send a message. I can be in a room with somebody and you and I have a whole conversation and I haven't said a word to you yet. I motioned with my eyes. Okay, I saw you and I was kind of like, that's kind of my look. I see someone that fine. I'm like, yeah, she look good, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be able to let you know that I think you look good or whatever. Might motion over. Your boy L got swag, so y'all don't sweat me. But anyway, so what now? Where do you go with this? Another question, ladies. What if your definition and understanding of love is different than his? Does it make yours better? Does it make yours safer? Does it make it not valid? No, that's not the case, because my definition of love, I'll tell you, part of my definition of love is when I offer my love language. Love language is plural. Mine is communication. Mine is physical touch. Okay, and so some of you women, okay, you might judge his level of caring for you on what he does for you, what he can give you. Oh, he's taking me on a cruise. Girl, I've only known him, 3 months. He already wants to take me to Aruba, and he owns a car dealership and got me a BMW already. Yeah, that would be dope. Okay, but that does not necessarily mean that things are gonna stick and stay. Yeah, you got something from it and got a handout or a hand up or whatever, or if he's financially blessed and stable and is able to help you, all of those things are wonderful. But what about to him if he's saying, I'm doing these things as acts of kindness, but I want other things on the other side. I want you to be loyal and committed to me. I don't want you working and blah blah blah, and you're gonna do this and do that. So now only for you to find out that dude is controlling. Well, ladies, come on. You ain't never been around a controlling dude that was actually a turn off and you loved him and it was so disappointing and he loved you, but he was controlling. You couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't do anything. He didn't want you having any male friends. The friends that you had prior, relationships that you already had established from Jump Street. Now this dude comes around and telling you what you can and can't do. And you might roll your neck like, who are you to tell me what I can and can't do and who I can and can't talk to? See, your definition of love is different, okay? And this is where the difficulty comes, is because your heart is involved now. Your mind, your spirit, your emotions, your will, your intellect, all those things, all that energy that you have poured into someone and someone has poured into you, okay, is alive now and it's kicking and it's there, and it is not that easy to walk away from. Ladies, don't tell me it is, because he's a good dude and he's a better dude than your last 5 relationships or your last 3 relationships, and he's a gentleman, and he opens the door for you, and he actually not just hears you when you talk, he listens and he communicates back to you, and he's not a closed book, and he opens up his heart to you and he tells you different things about him, and he trusts you with some of his deepest and darkest, certain things that he said he was just gonna take to the grave, but he felt safe enough with you to share these things with you, hoping that you would never use it against him the way the last person did. Okay, now you're understanding people's definition of love, that it might be different than yours, because you might be such a private person that you don't trust anyone, and this, that, and the other, and he might be the complete opposite. But it's taken him some time to get there, and now that he's there, ladies, and he says, I love you, he's telling you a whole lot more than you know, than just saying, I love you and, want to sleep with you or this, that. He's telling you a whole thing. He's saying, I trust you. I value you. I can confide in you. I need you. Okay. And ladies, you've had men say these things to you before just to have their way with you and to get into bed with you. Okay. And that crushed you because you found out that they were wolf in sheep's clothing. But I'm talking about a genuine dude. Okay. And I'm trying to help you navigate through this difficult process of, he said he loves me. This is what this podcast, this video podcast, these podcasts on relationships that matter. I'm trying to give you so many different angles. So depending on your age, your background, where you're from, how you grew up, remember what we talked about, your values, the music you listen to, who you surrounded yourself around, things that you've learned inside of your home. I'll be upfront and honest. My father, rest in peace, who is not here, but him and my mother were never married. And so I did not see a visual model, a functional model of what, relationships and stuff were supposed to look like. And I'm a visual guy, so I lacked that. So a lot of these things I did by trial and error. And so there was a time early in my life that if I told someone I loved them, it was literally based upon what I thought love was, or what I thought love could be. Most of all, what I thought love, what I hoped it would be. And my parents were never married, so I didn't live in the home, with my mother, with my father. Mom Dukes was mom and dad to me. My dad was in and out of my life. But I'm telling you those things because it affected how I process. It affected how I did things, how I endeavored to do things. It affected me, as far as how I approached a woman, my pursuit of her or the lack thereof, how fast, how early, how slow, boom, 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 boom. I can go down the whole list. But he said he loves me, ladies. I'm going to leave you with a couple of thoughts. I'm asking you, honestly, in all of this, where you are right now, are you able to separate some of the things that didn't go well with the particular man that you were with, whether it be, just boyfriend or girlfriend, or whether you were married, now that you're moving on in life, or maybe you're in it's middle stages where you're just kind of trying to figure some things out. Are you able to separate that may have just been with that guy, meaning him, that all guys are not that way, all men are not dogs, all men are not cheaters? That's a lie. All right. And so I'm going to refute that. That is an absolute lie. And then ask yourself again, what now? He said he loves me. This is your boy Lamar Jamal. I'm not sure that I'm done with this one. I don't think so. But he said he loves me. I thank you for tuning in to my podcast, Four Corners Podcast. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Lamar's Voices Boston. Again, my book will be hopefully in my hands sooner than later. My first book, Unscripted Transparency, the Lamar Callahan story, is available on Amazon, or if we happen to cross each other's paths. Your boy always keeps some copies with me. And send me some feedback, lamarsvoices@gmail.com. I want to hear from you. Let me know if things are helping you, if it's giving you some thought-provoking things, and let me know if there's some things on here that you want to talk about that you might find helpful. Peace and love. Blessings.